Hello, students. Now, in the previous lecture, we have already discussed the Cauchy integral formula and Cauchy integral theorem. Now, very quickly, we will discuss today about the Lawley's theorem. So, let us look what is the statement of Lawley's theorem. Lawley's theorem says if fz is analytic and bounded for all z in the entire complex plane, then we say that fz is a constant. Then we say the fz is constant. So this is the statement of Lawley's theorem. But in other words, we can also express as let us consider f map from C to C be an analytic function, and let there exist some real number k, a positive real number k that is greater than or equal to 0, such that mod of fx is less than or equal to k for every z belongs in C. Then we may say that f is a constant function. It means in totality, if you if you want to remember the statement of Lawley's theorem, then you can say that Lawley's theorem is nothing but entire plus bounded is equal to constant. So entire plus bounded is equal to constant is the subtotal of the Lawley's theorem, statement of Lawley's theorem. Now you know if the proof, it is already mentioned for my student, if proof is not in your course, it means you have to remember certain examples and the statement of Lawley's theorem. But for the sake of other viewers, especially if you are having any physics background or you are having any interest in astronomy, then this application is very huge. So for that purpose, I want to highlight these two application areas. The first is if the local gas density is constant along a phase space path. Phase space is a very nice term. If you have the interest in these two areas, then you have to go through and read carefully what is the where is the application of Lawley's theorem. Now second, it describes a fundamental characteristic of a photons as they propagate freely throughout the space. The conservation of brightness from source to detector is direct consequences of Lawley's theorem. So these are the two major practical area where the scientists, they always try to apply the Lawley's theorem. Now, if you want the proof, again I am giving this caution. If this proof is not covered in engineering mathematics, this proof is for any student if they are preparing for the NET, GATE or any competitive examination or MSc level, then the proof always required. So on a very quick note and very short proof I am going to state here. We may consider the Cauchy integral formula, and this is the relation of Cauchy integral formula. Because of that we are studying here now today after discussing the Cauchy integral formula. Let us consider z dot belong in C, and CR denote the simple counterclockwise circle of radius r centered at z naught. Then we may write mod of f dash a is equal to 1 over 2 pi iota under the closed curve C under the integration fz divided by z minus a whole square dz, which is equal less than or equal to k by r square, where this would be less than k by r square. R may be arbitrarily large. If r is very very large, then of course you can look if this is very very smaller quantity, and you may say that f dash z tends to 0 for every z belongs in C. If you consider two complex number, so for any two complex number like z1 and z2, you may write f of z2 minus f of z1. That may be written like this also, z1 to z2 under the integral z1 to z2 f dash z dz must be equal to 0. This implies that f is constant as required in the statement. This complete the proof of Lawley's theorem. But if you will go and consult the different authors' book, then they have used a very more precise form the term a different term that is known as holomorphic function. So holomorphic is nothing but, in a narrow sense, is nothing but that is the synonyms form of analytic function. But here I want to describe the holomorphic function. Holomorphic is a Greek word that come from the holos. In the Greek, holos means entire and morphe means form. Okay, so this means this is the synonyms form of this analytic function only. But since this has the different definition, then let us look what is the definition of holomorphic function. So holomorphic function means is a complex valued function of one or more complex variable. Okay, it means that is, in other words, you can say at every point of its domain, complex differentiable in a neighborhood of the point. It means the problem is, as I said, if proof is not in your course, then it means you have to ascertain with the example. So since holomorphic is also associated with your this theorem, Lawley's theorem, then one problem may be asked is so that fz is equal to z square is holomorphic on complex set. Okay, so just for proof, just you look very quickly and it is very easy. Fz is equal to uxy plus iota vxy, z is equal to x plus iota y, as per and we have to establish the CR equation must be satisfied. Then fz is equal to z square. This may be written x square minus y square plus twice iota xy. This part is real part and this 2xy is the imaginary part. You can look here, this is real and imaginary, and after partial derivative you will ascertain if the CR equations are satisfied. It means as the equation or the example holds good, that is fz is equal to z square is holomorphic function. Now another theorem which is also written in your syllabi, that is your maximum modulus theorem. So look the statement of maximum modulus theorem. If f is analytic and not constant in a given domain D, then mod of fz has no maximum value in D. That is, there is no z naught in the domain D such that mod of fz less than or equal to f of z naught for every z belongs in D. So this is the statement of maximum modulus theorem. You can take one note here. If f is analytic function and not constant on a closed bounded region R, then the maximum value of mod of fz in R occurs somewhere on the boundary of R and never in the interior. This will be never in the interior. This will be always at the boundary of the region, whatever the region may be. Now, for example, let us, this is very renowned example and very nice example. If you consider e power fz, so e power fz, we have to check this satisfies this theorem or not. So let us consider fz, you know that is u plus iota v. If fz is analytic, then as per the chain rule we know that e power fz is also analytic. This we already know. This is the inference from analytic function. Then e power fz may be written as e power u plus iota v, and this is e power u dot e power iota v, and this means r e power iota theta. So this is same as you know, if I want to write what is the modulus of x plus iota y, then of course the modulus will be r. R the modulus will be mod of z. R this will be under root x square plus y square. That is a real quantity, absolute function. It means this modulus of this is only e power u. Just you remember this. It means e power fz is nothing but e power u, and e power u represents e power u of xy, and it means it is easy to see that u cannot have any maximum value inside the domain D, inside the region D. It means, since we also know that exponential is always an increasing function, and here in this case e power uxy cannot have any maximum value in the region D. So this satisfies the statement of this theorem. And thank you very much. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you very much. Thank you.